Imagine hearing the whispers of history as they travel through time, narrating a story of a nation that rose from the ruins. When some hear the term Wirtschaftswunder, thoughts may drift to a band from the early 80s. However, for many, it symbolizes the transformation of Western Germany, once devastated by war in 1945, into a powerhouse in just a few decades. What ignited this renowned miracle on the Rhine? Join me as we explore how Germany became an economic powerhouse post-1945. The shield of protection provided by the US military played a role in Germany's resurgence, enabling the country to focus on rebuilding its economy. The Germany that emerged after surrendering in May 1945 was a picture of devastation. Once dominating Europe, it was now fragmented under occupation, with its core regions ravaged by war and poverty. Industries had suffered damage. Agricultural production, which once sustained the population, had plummeted by half. The agricultural crisis was so severe that by 1947 yields were half of what they were before the war. Rationing persisted among people, with food supplies dwindling from limited to starvation levels. Price controls led to shortages, fueling the growth of the market. The prestigious Reichsmark lost its value, giving way to a system where bartered goods and cigarettes became essential for survival. Following the devastation of World War II, Germany's strong infrastructure lay in ruins, with bridges destroyed and railways in disarray. The looming threat of the Morgenthau Plan posed a future for the nation by aiming to dismantle its power and transform it into an agricultural society. However, as the harsh winter of 1947 approached, bringing fears of famine, the Allied forces showed mercy by providing aid to help the struggling people. Amidst the ruins, emerged voices calling for change, including Walter Eucken, who championed principles over bartering. Cities like Dresden and Berlin, hubs of culture and trade, now stood as empty reminders of their past glory. Ulation had significantly decreased from its war numbers, painting a stark picture of post-war life in Germany. During a time of uncertainty, the Freiburg School of Economics gained prominence by promoting ordoliberalism, which blends free market principles with state safeguards to prevent monopolies, aiming for a balance between growth and political stability. Ludwig Erhard, known for opposing the Nazi regime, took charge of Germany's direction, leading the country towards recovery. Although there were doubts among members of the Social Democratic Party, who were concerned about losing control over the economy and feared the risks of market freedom, Erhard's economic plan gained support, and with the introduction of the Deutsche Mark currency, Germany began its journey out of hardship, leaving behind inflation issues and progressing towards prosperity. This era was a turning point for Germany, as it managed to rebuild and reform simultaneously, setting the stage for the Wirtschaftswunder, or economic miracle, that propelled the nation forward in the years. The resilience and innovative spirit displayed during this period showcased Germany's determination to thrive despite challenges. In the days of 1946, a notable figure named Wilhelm Röpke from the Freiburg School found himself at a crucial moment in his nation's history. His impactful words resonated in the taverns and quiet corridors. To restore stability in Germany, we must bring about significant changes, a revival of the German monetary system. Imagine this scene: a country ravaged by war, its morale shattered, its currency in ruins. The powerful Reichsmark lay crumpled, a symbol of an era. Yet Röpke, driven by determination, envisioned a phoenix emerging from the ashes, a currency serving as a beacon of optimism. So it transpired on that day of June 21st, 1948, when the sun painted the sky with hues of renewal. The birth of the Deutsche Mark symbolized this phoenix, a promise taking flight. Its value stood at 93% lower than that of the Reichsmark, causing ripples across the nation. Overnight, German citizens clung to their wallets and aspirations as they witnessed their wealth diminish like sand slipping through their hands. However, it was not about money. It signified liberation from constraints. The Deutsche Mark danced alongside freedom from oppression. Price regulations, those restrictive barriers, were dismantled. The low prices disappeared quietly like fading memories. Manufacturers, once cautious, now sensed the pulse of opportunity. Factories buzzed with activity, weaving prosperity into the fabric of life. However, economists expressed concern. Would prices rise sharply, leaving people struggling to keep up? Anxiety gripped their hearts. Yet the Germans, clever as foxes, had a surprise in store. They introduced these changes on a Sunday, when the Allied Control Commission was inactive. A knowing, a strategic move, their defiance reverberated through the annals of history. Tax reforms accompanied the introduction of the Deutsche Mark. Corporate tax rates were simplified to 50%, eliminating confusion. Personal income tax, harsh and oppressive, underwent changes. The middle class flourished like a plant basking in sunlight while higher earners bore their share of taxes. The markets came alive. Stores that were once empty now brimmed with goods. The black market faded away like dissipating fog. Bartering practices became outdated as real money worked its charm. Driven by profit motives, manufacturers brought products into existence while factories echoed with the sounds of productivity. In May 1948, tired Germans were missing 10 hours of work each week in search of sustenance. However, by October, as food became more plentiful, this amount dropped to 4.2 hours, a sign of abundance. Industrial production, which had been a shadow of itself, began to rise from the ashes. By 1958, it had increased fourfold against all odds. Now you might ask about the Marshall Plan? Well, my friend, let's take a look. The Americans, cautious yet practical, understood that rebuilding Germany was not about making amends. It was also a defense against the growing threat of communism. Aid was provided, a support system. Although not as extravagant as rumors may suggest. $2 billion may sound like a fortune. In reality, it was a drop in the ocean compared to the immense needs at hand. The Marshall Plan funds acted like breezes that fueled the flames of recovery. Countries with economies focused on exports began to thrive and connect across borders. Germany found markets after being divided for long. Then came an unexpected turn of events when the sound of war drums from Korea resonated across continents. In need of strength, South Korea turned to Germany for assistance. As gears started turning and production surged by 30%, it was truly a testament to resilience and survival. After a war that shook the core of society, Germany found itself amidst the rubble burdened with a hefty debt of 30 billion Deutsche Mark. Just picture the pressure such a debt would put on a nation striving to recover. An amount for an economy hanging by a thread between hope and despair. As the 1950s began, the Western Alliance started to show compassion, no longer holding on to grudges from the conflicts. They were faced with a decision. Continue to reprimand Germany, the birthplace of the Nazi regime, or confront the growing threat of communism. With freedom's future in jeopardy, they opted to oppose the spread of communism and reached out with arms to West Germany. The London Agreement on German external debts in 1953 marked a turning point in war history as it granted substantial debt relief to West Germany. This agreement, officially signed on February 27th and enacted on September 16th of that year, showcased the effort among creditor nations like the United States, United Kingdom, France, and others. According to this agreement, West Germany's war debt was halved, while repayment conditions were designed to be exceptionally lenient. The terms of the agreement stated that payments would be spread out over a 30-year period, contingent on Germany's well-being. Specifically, the repayments were linked to Germany's export earnings, with a limit of 3% of those earnings. This strategy was put in place to ensure that the repayments wouldn't hinder Germany's resurgence and development. The flexibility of the conditions stood in contrast to harsh economic requirements that could have been enforced. By overwhelming the recovering nation with debt repayments, the agreement allowed for a focus on reconstruction and progress. The creditors forward. Compassion aided in West Germany's reintegration into the economy and played a role in stabilizing the Deutsche Mark B 1983. West Germany had not fulfilled its commitments outlined in the agreement, had also undergone a period of exceptional economic expansion. This growth, often dubbed as the Wirtschaftswunder, or economic miracle, witnessed West Germany's economy flourishing, with impact from debt repayments due to its economic performance and creditors' benevolence. The London Debt Agreement is frequently referenced as an instance of debt relief that bolstered recovery and development rather than impeding it. It serves as a reminder of the positive outcomes that can arise from showing empathy and practicality in economic strategies following a conflict. Now let's explore the heart of the Cold War era, a time when tensions ran high, and the world stood on the edge of a type of warfare. The former allies were now tasked with ensuring that Germany would not return to its ways. How could this be achieved? The solution seemed elusive, as peace itself led to a period of occupation and mounting compassion towards the German population. In a move, the Western powers initiated reforms that sparked a revival in the German economy within their territories. This action was met with opposition from Stalin, who imposed a blockade in an attempt to thwart their progress and control over West Berlin. However, the Western nations stood firm, demonstrated their determination through the Berlin Airlift, a 11-month display of unity that showcased their resilience against Soviet pressures. Following the lifting of the blockade, Germany emerged as two entities, East and West, siblings sharing heritage, but embarking on paths. The West viewed communism as its adversary, thus welcomed West Germany into its alliance, eventually integrating it into NATO. The choice, made due to the pressing circumstances of the era, established West Germany as a stronghold of freedom and a significant player on the world stage. But what about East Germany, you might wonder? Its story is one of contrasts, a journey taken in the aftermath of the conflict. It also achieved stability, employment opportunities, and trade, albeit under an identity. This narrative, my companions, deserves its moment in the spotlight, a chapter we will delve into with the attention it deserves. So if you were intrigued by today's exploration of West Germany's ascension, stay tuned. Subscribe now. Don't forget to drop us a like and comment. Don't miss out on discovering East Germany's journey in our upcoming episode. If you have more interesting facts about Germany, share them.